Welcome to Somatic Shadow Work for Sleep, a meditation series that recalibrates the thoughts, actions, and habits that govern your daily life. Your guide in these meditations is Seth Cherepak, author of Awaken Your Shadow and founder of somatic axiology. These meditations speak to your dominant form of intelligence, known by cognitive neuroscience as value intelligence. Value intelligence, or VQ, operates upstream of your intellectual intelligence, IQ, and your emotional intelligence, EQ. VQ is the decentralized intelligence sprawling throughout your entire being, like an underground root system feeding every branch above it and the fruit it bears. This is how somatic axiology succeeds in delivering on the promises made by the schools of New Age energy healing, which address mainly your EQ, and conventional methods like positive affirmations and mindset programs, which address mainly your IQ. Somatic axiology speaks to your VQ. Listen to this in a place where your attention is free to shift from the worries and cares of the external world into the rich architecture of your internal world, where your transformation begins. In this episode, Activating Your Compassionate Self, Seth guides you on a journey into the part of you that learned to rescue, to fix, to carry, and to earn its place by pouring itself out for everyone else. This is your first step toward giving and receiving love freely, instead of purchasing it with your own exhaustion.
We will begin our journey with 4 deep breaths. Breathe in quickly, feeling your belly expand. Hold as your body begins to relax and your mind begins its descent. Breathe out, feeling your body relax and your mind descending deeper. Breathe in again, feeling your belly expand more and more, and hold. Breathe out slowly as your body relaxes more and more and your mind descends deeper and deeper. Breathe in again, your belly expanding more and more and more. Hold. Now begin the slow release, your body relaxing more and more, your mind descending deeper and deeper and deeper. Breathe in a final time, your belly expanding fully. Hold. Now breathe slowly out, your body relaxing completely, your mind descending deeper and deeper and deeper, all the way to the deepest part, the part beyond your thoughts, beyond your feelings, and beyond your conscious reach. You are now completely relaxed and at peace. It's late, and you cannot tell if you are tired or just finally alone. The house has gone quiet. The last conversation has ended. The last voice note has played out into the dark. And the phone beside you on the bed has finally stopped vibrating. For now, because somewhere across the city, across the country, across the glowing web of late-night messages, someone is about to need you again. And your body already knows. You can feel it. That low preemptive readiness in your chest, the way your shoulders never quite let go of the day, the way your ears, even in the silence, are still half tilted toward the next incoming signal. This is not self-help. This is somatic shadow work. Not another framework to help you set better boundaries. Not another technique to manage your empathy. Somatic shadow work is the descent beneath the role into the body of a man who has been on call for so long. He no longer remembers what his own emotional weather feels like. So let us go there slowly. Let me describe the man I am speaking to tonight. You are the steady one. The one people reach for. You are the message that gets answered at 1 in the morning, the voice they call when no one else picks up, the deep listener whose phone glows softly on the nightstand at hours other people are dreaming. You are the one who reads the long paragraph someone sent you, the one full of pain and confusion and half-formed sentences, and instead of putting the phone down, you read it again, carefully, the way a medic reads the wound before deciding which artery to close first, because that is what you have become. A medic without a uniform, without a shift that ever ends, without anyone to take the next call when you finally need to sleep. You answer texts with battlefield urgency. You feel it as a physical compulsion. The phone lights up, and something in your chest tightens before you have even read the message. A jolt, a spike, a small surge of adrenaline that says, someone needs you and the clock has already started. You do not call it adrenaline, you call it caring. But notice what your body is actually doing. Notice how your breath shortens the moment the screen brightens. Notice how your jaw locks before your eyes have even focused. Notice how the muscles around your stomach tense as if bracing for impact. That is not love. That is a first responder reflex, and no one ever asked you if you wanted the job. But you took it. Somewhere long ago you took it. And now your nervous system runs the protocol automatically. The phone lights. The chest tightens. The mind sharpens. The hand reaches. And the body, exhausted, leaves itself again and goes to triage. Notice how you read. You do not just read the words. You read the gaps between them. You read the punctuation, the pauses, the strange capital letters, the places where her sentences trail off into ellipses you have learned over time to translate. You read her sleep patterns by the timestamps. You read her stress level by how often she breaks her own train of thought. You read the men she has not named yet by the way she carefully avoids their names. You are a scholar of someone else's emotional weather. You can predict the storm 3 days before she feels the first wind. But ask yourself now, in this honest dark, When was the last time you read yourself with that much attention? When was the last time you scanned your own body? The way you scan her messages? When was the last time you noticed the trembling in your own hands? Or the catch in your own breath? Or the strange, hollow ache that has lived just beneath your ribs for months, and given it the same patient, unhurried interpretation you give to her? You don't even know what your own emotional weather looks like anymore. Because somewhere along the way, you started monitoring everyone else's first. And by the time you got back to yourself, there was no time left, no energy left, no bandwidth left for the quiet, unglamorous work of noticing your own life. So your inner weather just runs in the background, unread, unattended, a storm gathering somewhere over an ocean no one is watching. This is the silent starvation of the man people call good. You are not starving for food. You are not starving for company. God knows you have plenty of company. Your phone is full of it. You are starving for the simplest thing in the world, to be the one being held for once, to be the one whose message gets read 3 times, to be the one someone stays up worrying about, instead of the one being relied on to do the worrying. And the moment that hunger rises, some old voice in you flinches, calls it selfish, calls it weakness, calls it the kind of need that ruins a man's reputation as steady. So you swallow it again and go back to the phone. Notice how you guard the steadiness. Even in this moment, alone in the dark, some part of you is still on duty. You will not let yourself fully exhale. You will not let yourself fully feel the tiredness. Because if you did, you might begin to suspect just how depleted you actually are. And what would you do with that knowledge? You cannot take it to them. They came to you because you are the one who does not fall apart. You cannot put it on the people who lean on you. That is not the role. That is not what the steady man does. So you keep the depletion private, a secret kept from yourself most of all. And the body, denied even the dignity of being acknowledged, finds quieter ways to speak. The dull headache that arrives at 5 every afternoon, the shoulder that will not stop aching no matter how you sleep, the strange numbness in the chest when someone, anyone, finally turns the conversation toward you, and you suddenly do not know what to say, because the language of your own interior has gone rusty from disuse. You can describe her in extraordinary detail. You can map his childhood and his attachment patterns and the exact reason his marriage fell apart. But when someone asks you gently, "How are you really?" you hear yourself say, "I'm good." And the lie does not even feel like a lie anymore. It feels like protocol. the same automatic response year after year until it became your name. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm here for you. And somewhere behind those words, a man you used to know is disappearing, slowly, without ceremony, without anyone noticing, because you have trained the people around you not to look. This is what we mean when we say your own heart has disappeared into the architecture of everyone else's crises. You did not vanish in a single moment. You vanished in pieces, one swallowed need at a time, one redirected conversation at a time, one late-night triage at a time, until the building you live inside is no longer yours. It is a sanctuary, a monastery, a hospital, and you are not the man who lives there. You are the structure itself. The walls, the roof, the quiet, load-bearing presence that holds everyone else's collapse off the ground. And tonight, in this honest dark, something in the structure is beginning to creak. Not loudly, not yet. Just the smallest sound. The kind a building makes when it has carried too much for too long, and is preparing somewhere deep in its bones to remember that it was once a man. Do not reach for the phone. Not yet. Let the message wait. Let the next crisis go unanswered for one more minute. Stay here with me. In the silence, the medic almost never gets to feel. Because tonight, for the first time in years, someone is finally going to read you. So let us go back before the late night triage, back before the phone, back before you knew yourself as the steady one, back to the house you grew up in, because the medic did not appear in your 20s. He was apprenticed in childhood, and the apprenticeship began long before you had the language to refuse it. Picture the house, not the photographs of it, not the version you describe to people when they ask where you grew up. The real house, the one with the moods. Every house has weather, and in your house the weather changed without warning. Maybe it was a parent whose mood arrived ahead of them through the door. Maybe it was a silence that meant something was wrong, but no one would name what. Maybe it was a sibling whose chaos demanded the whole family rearrange itself around them. Maybe it was love that came generously one afternoon, and then withdrew for reasons no one explained by the next morning. Whatever the specific form, the climate in your house was not stable, and a small boy in an unstable climate becomes a meteorologist before he becomes anything else. You learn to read a room the way other boys learn to read a ball. You learned the shape of your mother's sigh. You learned which side of the couch your father preferred when he was tired. You learned what kind of laugh from a sibling meant safety, and which one meant the next half hour was going to be loud. You learned to read the punctuation of silence, because silence in your house was not empty. Silence had grammar. A short silence meant one thing. A long silence meant another. A silence that fell suddenly in the middle of a sentence meant get out of the room before it lands. You read those silences with the same precision you would later use to read her 1 a.m. text. Because it was the same skill you were already in training, and here is what no one ever told you. A boy who can read a room that well has already left himself. Because to read a room with that level of accuracy, you have to move your attention out of your own body and place it inside everyone else's. You become a small surveyor of other people's interiors, and the more accurate your surveys become, the less of you remains in your own skin. That was the first cost. Then came the lesson. You discovered by trial and error that you could change the weather. A joke at the right moment. A question that softened your mother's face. A small chore done without being asked that made your father exhale instead of shout. You could regulate the room. You, a child. You could lower the temperature of an entire household with one well-placed sentence. And the moment you discovered that, the contract began to take shape. Because for a boy in a volatile house, the ability to lower the temperature is not a skill. It is survival. The calmer the room, the safer you are. The safer you are, the more love can flow. The more love can flow, the more likely you are to feel for one fragile evening that you belong. So you became the regulator, the little hero, the emotional janitor, the peacekeeper of a kingdom you were too young to be conscripted into. You did not call it any of those things. You did not have the words. You only knew that when the room was calm, you could breathe. And when the room was sharp, you could not. So you spent your childhood adjusting the dial, smoothing, mediating, anticipating, translating between adults who could not translate themselves. And in doing so, you slowly traded your own childhood for a role. This was the survival contract. Not written, not spoken, signed silently in the body every time you chose the room's calm over your own truth. The terms of the contract were simple. Your usefulness in exchange for your belonging. You will read the weather. You will manage the moods. You will be the steady one in a house that cannot regulate itself. And in return, you will be loved, not for who you are, for what you do. And the boy, having no other offer on the table, signed. Again and again, with every swallowed need, with every joke that arrived just in time, with every silent decision to be okay so that someone else could fall apart. But every contract has a price. And the price of this one was your own emotional life. Because if you were going to be the regulator, your own needs could not be in the room. They were too disruptive, too risky. Too much weather added to a sky that was already unstable. So you learned to call your needs dangerous noise. The hunger for attention, the hurt that wanted comfort, the boy-sized rage when something unfair happened to you, the simple, unglamorous desire to be held without earning it. All of it. Dangerous noise. Noise that would tip the house back into storm. Noise that might cost you the fragile, conditional love you were working so hard to keep. So you turned the volume down. Inside yourself, you muted the boy. And in his place, you elevated something else. A self that was always calm, always available, always more concerned with how the other people in the room were doing than with how he was doing. A self who could absorb chaos without showing the bruise. A self who could pour kindness into people who were not pouring it back. A self whose worth was measured entirely by his usefulness. This is the counterfeit kingdom you are still living inside tonight. The kingdom of the compassionate self that was not chosen, but conscripted. On the throne of that kingdom sits a role, not a man. A role, the helper, the listener, the steady one, the medic who never needs the medicine. And the worst part is the kingdom worked. That is what makes it so hard to leave. You were rewarded for it. You were praised for it. You were called wise, mature, compassionate, deep, years before your friends were called anything beyond loud. Adults loved you. Teachers trusted you. Other people's parents told your parents what a good boy you were. The contract paid out, and every time it paid, the role grew stronger, and the boy underneath grew quieter. This is what somatic shadow work calls role possession. When a survival role is worn so long, so consistently, so well, that the man inside forgets it is a role at all. The mask fuses to the face. The medic forgets he was once a boy. The compassionate self stops being a part of you and becomes what you call yourself. I am a giver. I am a healer. I am the deep one. I am the one who shows up for other people. You say these things and they feel true, and they are partly, but the part you cannot see in the daylight is that they are also the terms of an old contract you signed in a house you no longer live in, with people who may not even remember the silences you spent your childhood translating. The boy is still in there, beneath the role, beneath the helper, beneath the steady, useful, much-loved structure you have built around yourself. The boy with the unread weather, the boy whose needs were filed away as dangerous noise, the boy who decided somewhere around the age of 7 or 8 that he would purchase belonging with usefulness and pay the bill quietly for the rest of his life. He has been paying it ever since. And tonight, in the honest dark, the bill is finally coming due. So come back to now. Back to the man in the dark room. Back to the bed. Back to the phone resting beside you like a small, patient master waiting to be obeyed. Because the boy in that house grew up. He left the house. He built a life of his own. He chose his own friends, his own work, his own relationships. But he carried the contract with him. He carried it into every room he walked into for the rest of his life. And tonight we are going to look at exactly what he has done with it. Start with the people closest to you, your partner, or the person who would be your partner if you could let one all the way in. Your closest friends, your boss, your clients, your collaborators. Notice how you are with them. The world calls it empathy. You call it empathy. But the witness sitting quietly behind your eyes sees something more precise. It is not empathy. It is surveillance. You scan them constantly, quietly, without their knowledge and largely without your own. You scan their voice for the smallest tremor. You scan their face for the micro shift in expression that no one else in the room would catch. You scan their typing speed. You scan the time it takes them to reply. You scan the length of their hello. You are the meteorologist again, still on duty, still translating the punctuation of silence. And you tell yourself this is care, but ask yourself something honestly. When you scan another person, who exactly are you scanning for? Are you scanning to understand them? Or are you scanning to make sure their weather isn't about to land on you? Because there is an enormous difference. Understanding is open. Surveillance is defensive. Understanding moves toward the other person. Surveillance keeps a careful, calculated distance between you and whatever they might do next. And here is the part no one prepared you for. Surveillance feels like intimacy. From the inside, it feels like the closest thing to connection you have ever known. Because you are paying attention, deep attention, the kind most people never receive from anyone in their entire lives. But the attention is not the same as presence. You are not actually with them. You are tracking them. You are not in the moment. You are 2 moments ahead, calculating the next gust. And while you are doing that, your own body is not in the conversation. Your own feelings are not in the conversation. Your own truth is somewhere in the next room. politely waiting to be told whether the climate is safe enough for it to come back in. This is how the compassionate self prevents intimacy while seeming to create it. He shows up with everything except himself, and the people who love him feel it. Not always consciously, but they feel it. They feel the strange asymmetry. They feel that they are known by you in a way they cannot quite return. They feel that no matter how much they ask, the deepest layer of you stays somewhere just out of reach. And eventually, many of them stop asking, not because they don't care, because you have trained them not to. You train them with your steadiness. You train them with your inexhaustibility. You train them by being the one who never seemed to need. And the more flawlessly you played the role, the more invisible the man underneath became. Now look at the ledger. There is a ledger. You know there is. You don't call it that. You don't even fully admit to yourself that you keep one, but somewhere inside the helper, there is a quiet accountant, and he has been writing things down for years. Every late night call you answered when you wanted to sleep. Every favor done without anyone returning one. Every birthday remembered when yours was forgotten. Every time you held space for someone's chaos while they had no idea you were in your own. He writes them down carefully in neat little columns, and underneath the column of what you gave, he keeps another column, the column of what you are owed. You did not consciously choose to keep this ledger, but the boy in the volatile house needed an explanation. He needed a reason to believe that all this regulating, all this absorbing, all this swallowing of his own needs would eventually be repaid. So the accountant inside him began to keep score, and the score has been running ever since. Here is the tragedy of it. The people on the receiving end of your kindness do not know the ledger exists. You never told them. You never could. Because the moment you told them, you would have to admit that the gift was not free. That every act of care was, in some quiet corner of you, also an invoice. You handed them invisible loans, and they had no idea they were borrowing, and so they spend the money you gave them without ever knowing that you have been waiting somewhere in the dark for repayment. And when they don't pay, which they can't because no one ever told them about the contract, the accountant in you slowly grows bitter. He keeps tallying. He keeps adding. He keeps stamping each entry with a small silent stamp that reads, unpaid. And the buried bitterness has to go somewhere. This is where the leakage begins. Because the compassionate self cannot say, I am angry that you have not noticed me. That sentence would shatter the role. That sentence would risk the entire counterfeit kingdom. So the anger does not come out as a sentence. It comes out as a sigh. That particular sigh, the one your partner has learned to dread without being able to explain why. It says nothing and everything. It says, I am tired, but it is not your job to ask why. It says, I gave more than you saw, but I will not be the one to name it. It says, I am disappointed, but I have a moral identity to maintain, so I cannot tell you what about. It comes out as the cold shoulder, the slightly clipped tone in the email, the strange delay in a reply that used to be instant, the withdrawal that you call needing space when what you really mean is I am punishing you for something I will not let myself say. It comes out as the joke that lands a little too hard, the teasing that has just enough edge in it to draw blood, the casual dismissal of something they cared about delivered so smoothly that even you can deny it later. This is the buried no leaking out sideways. It is the dangerous noise the boy was never allowed to make, slipping out under the door of the man. And here is the cruelest part. The helper believes he has only two options: continue to give endlessly, or become cold. Continue to absorb everyone, or shut everyone out. This is the all or nothing fallacy, the same lie the chained king believed in the cellar, the lie that says love must be either self-erasure or self-protection. Compassion must be either uncontained or extinct. Either he gives until there is nothing left of him, or he becomes the kind of cold man he has spent his entire life refusing to be. And because those are the only two options he can imagine, he keeps choosing the first. He keeps giving. He keeps absorbing. He keeps regulating the room. And the leakage keeps growing. And the ledger keeps growing. And the man underneath keeps thinning. This is the toxicity of self-erasure. Not loud, not dramatic, just the slow daily corrosion of a soul pretending it does not need what every soul needs. And all of it pools, in the end, in the same place. The oblivion room. That hidden chamber inside you where every disowned need has been quietly stacking itself for decades. Every swallowed truth, every uncollected debt, every sigh you released instead of the sentence you should have spoken, they are all in there, waiting. And in the deepest corner of the oblivion room, the boy who became the medic is sitting on the floor with his arms around his knees, listening for the one footstep he has waited a lifetime to hear. The footstep of the man he became, finally walking into the room and saying his name. So let us begin the work. Not the thinking, the work. Because everything until now has been seeing, and seeing is not enough. The witness has shown you the medic. The witness has shown you the ledger. The witness has shown you the boy on the floor of the oblivion room waiting for his name. But understanding the role has never once dissolved it, because the contract was not signed in your mind. It was signed in your body, and it can only be rewritten there. So tonight we do not rewrite a belief, we perform an initiation. And this initiation has a name: the delayed rescue. Listen carefully, because the protocol is almost insultingly simple, and for a man like you, almost impossibly hard. The next time the phone lights up with a need that is not an emergency, and you know the difference, you have always known the difference. You are going to do one thing: nothing. Not forever, not coldly, not as punishment, just not yet. You are going to let the message sit. 1 hour, maybe until morning. You are going to feel the jolt in your chest, the medic's adrenaline, the clock that says someone needs you and the seconds are bleeding, and you are going to stay in your own body instead of leaving it to go to triage. And when the rescue is truly not yours to make, when the request would cost you what you do not have, you are going to give the second half of the protocol, the clean no, no I can't tonight. That is the whole sentence. No ledger of reasons. No resume of all the times you said yes. No apology delivered in installments for the rest of the week. Because the explanation is not kindness. The explanation is the leak. It is the sound of a man who does not believe his limits are allowed to exist, unless everyone else approves of them first. So you say the clean no, or you let the rescue wait. And then the initiation truly begins, because the moment you do not answer, the moment the medic stands down, your body is going to revolt. First, the guilt. It will arrive like heat behind the sternum, a flush of wrongness. The unmistakable feeling that you are letting someone bleed. Then the catastrophe reel. The mind will begin to show you pictures. What if this is the one time it really is an emergency? What if they fall apart? What if they stop loving you? Hear that last one clearly. What if they stop loving you? Because that is the real engine. That is the boy's oldest terror, dressed up in tonight's crisis. The contract is screaming up through the floorboards. Answer it. Fix it. Be useful. Useful is safe. Useful is loved. A man who is not needed is a boy who does not belong. You have abandoned the contract, and the contract is fighting for its life. And here is what you must understand before you ever walk into it. That guilt is not a moral signal. That heat is not evidence that you have done something wrong. It is withdrawal. For decades, you sedated this exact feeling. Every time the guilt began to rise, you reached for the rescue, the way an addict reaches for the needle, and it worked. The guilt went down, and the boy stayed muted. So tonight, when you let the phone go dark and do not run to it, you are refusing the sedative for the first time. And the body does what every system does when the drug is withheld. It panics. It floods you with wrongness. It tells you that you are becoming the cold man you swore you would never be. You are not becoming cold. You are withdrawing from a master you have served since you were 7 years old. So you stay inside the guilt. You do not fix it. You do not reach for the phone to make it stop. You do not rescue the other person from the discomfort of your absence, or rescue yourself from the discomfort of theirs. Feel your own chest for once. Not theirs. Yours. Feel the breath move through a body that is, in this moment, off duty. Let the guilt burn. Let the catastrophe reel play to an empty theater. Let the old voice scream that you are selfish. And do not move. This is the threshold. And every second you remain in that guilt without collapsing into the rescue, the boy in the oblivion room lifts his head. Because this is what real compassion requires, not the cage of coldness, not the flood of self-erasure. Containment. This is the dimmer switch of the heart. Your whole life you believed care had only 2 settings: everything or nothing. Pour yourself out or wall yourself off. That was the all or nothing fallacy, and it was always a lie. The truth your body is learning in this very moment is that you can feel the full current of your compassion, the warmth, the attunement, the love moving through you, and you can hold the dial. You can care for someone without carrying them. You can witness someone's pain without billing yourself for it. You can love from inside your own body instead of abandoning it every time the phone lights up. This is how the giving becomes clean. No ledger, no invoice, no accountant in the dark stamping unpaid. Because a gift given from overflow needs no repayment. Only the gifts you tore out of yourself ever demanded one. And as you stand in that guilt and refuse to abandon yourself, something ancient reassembles inside you. A vow. The sovereign contract of the heart that replaces the survival contract the boy signed in the volatile house. Say it with me now, not from the mind, from the chest, from the heart you are finally coming home to. I am not the medic. I am the man. My care is a gift, not a payment. I am allowed to be held. Say that last one again, because it is the one the boy has been waiting to hear. I am allowed to be held. This is the new contract. Signed not in usefulness, but in worth. Signed not in the mind, but in the body. And every delayed rescue you survive from here, every clean no that stands without a defense, every wave of guilt you sit inside without running to the phone, is another signature on that contract, another door of the oblivion room unlocked, another step the boy takes, up off the floor, toward the man who finally came back for him. So let the guilt settle now. You have done the hard thing, or you have seen for the first time what the hard thing will be. Either way, something in you has shifted tonight. Let your breath return to its own rhythm. Slower now, deeper than it was when we began. Feel the weight of your body against the bed, not holding anything, not bracing for any signal, held by the earth for once, instead of holding. The shoulders can come down now. Let them. The chest can soften now. Let it. The ears can stop listening for the next incoming need. There is no one to save tonight, not even yourself, because you were never the one who was broken. But before you drift, there is something you need to understand. What we entered tonight was only one room, the codependent self, one chamber, one counterfeit kingdom, one false self that has been collecting tribute from your life. But the house is larger than this, far larger, because the oblivion room has many doors. Behind one door, the passive self, the agreeable man who traded his no for belonging, who leaks his sovereignty through 1,000 unstated boundaries. Behind another, the insecure self, the one who braces all night against a danger that never comes, who mistakes his sedation for peace. Behind another, the reckless self, the one with the starving engine, who burns down good things just to feel alive. And behind others still, the one who cannot trust his own knowing, the one exhausted by a mask he cannot remove, the one who calls his control holiness. 7 rooms, 7 selves, 7 thrones, each one waiting for the king to return. And here is the truth you cannot escape. The heart cannot come home to an empty house. You can reclaim this one room tonight. You can learn the delayed rescue. You can hold the guilt and sign the new contract. But if the other rooms remain dark, if the other selves remain exiled, the counterfeits will keep ruling in your name. Because a counterfeit does not need every room to govern you. It only needs the one you refuse to enter. The Matrix will gladly let you understand your codependency, so long as you never map the rest of the kingdom. Do not forget. This is why I wrote Awaken Your Shadow. Not as self-help, not as another book about boundaries. I wrote it as a map of the entire house, a descent through all 7 selves, a torch to carry into every darkened room, where a part of you was left waiting. It will show you the rooms you have been avoiding, the contracts you signed in the dark, the exact machinery beneath your giving, your guilt, your exhaustion, and your invisible ledger. So when the light returns, when this night has passed and the phone begins to glow again, pick it up. The book, not the phone. Read it slowly, not like information, like a mirror, but that is tomorrow. Tonight, you have done enough. You have always done enough. That was never the question. So rest now. Let the breath go slow. Let the body grow heavy. Let the phone sleep its small dark sleep on the nightstand, unanswered, and let the world survive one night without you holding it up. It will. It always could. And as you drift, remember the only thing you need to carry into tomorrow. You were never loved because you were useful. You were useful because you were afraid that you would not be loved. Lay the fear down. Lay the ledger down. Lay the medic's bag down by the door. The boy in the oblivion room has heard your footsteps. And tonight, for the first time, you knelt down and said his name. Tonight, you let yourself be held. In a moment, the next episode will begin playing automatically. Stop feeling unsafe. Somatic shadow work for the secure self, the sentry who has been scanning the horizon since you were a boy. Stay and let it play. And know this, one night sets the ledger down. Loving with open hands is a practice. In Awaken Your Shadow, I expose the devil who turned your love into labor, and I give you the daily practices that let you stay connected and stay whole. The audiobook is linked below this video. Click that link now to begin your journey, or continue listening for the next video in this series.